Welcome to the Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Derek Schomer. Welcome to Sunday Night Shooters, except we're not doing a shooter, but it is Sunday, Cinco de Mayo. So I figured for Cinco de Mayo what we do is a little margarita action. Oh yeah. So I'm a little more quiet just because there's some people around and I don't want to look like a weirdo talking to my camera on the porch. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna make a margarita because it is, after all, the 5th of May, and that's what you do. You drink margaritas. Actually, I'm gonna go do some prepare my garden, but for now, I'm gonna test this. Now I'm not gonna tell you exactly what the recipe is because I want to do an initial tasting first and work backwards. This is like one of those. This is like a Quentin Tarantino film. All right. Well, it smells good. It's got a nice sour taste to it. Now this isn't my recipe. Ooh, some nice sour, mild acidity, not too lemonade-y. You could get that citrus, the sourness that brings on some lemonade, like acidity in the finish. This is really good. Now, looks like a standard margarita. I don't use salt on my margaritas, so screw salt. Now the trick behind this is it's a premix. This is Margarita Texas restaurant style margarita mix. And I've done this before. What happened is I started out, I just went back and checked. About 50 seconds into the recipe, I called out the fact that the first primary ingredient was high fructose corn syrup, and I talked about how it could just be better in general had you removed the high fructose corn syrup and made a more rich recipe with it. Just because it's high fructose corn syrup, besides the fact that it's like people get really upset about it, is it adds a really thick sweetness, like a very sharp sweetness to it, where I don't know if it's necessarily fake, but it's very intense and it's hard to dial back. Especially now when you're talking about margarita mixes, when you're looking to dial back that sweetness, because it should have that sour roundness to it. And the original recipe did have a good sour to lime bite, but this is a new recipe. This recipe, they sent me and said, you know what? We understand what you were saying. We understand what the market is kind of saying, which I guess I kind of am the market as I am a consumer. And the ingredient list now is water, cane sugar, contains 9% lime juice from concentrate, contains 3% lime juice from concentrate, lemon juice, sorry, citric acid, and all the stuff that you preservatives and color, right? So you still have your preservatives and color. It is a mix. It does have to have shelf life to it, but at the same time, it's got cane sugar, lemon, and lime for your sour mix type build. So you don't need a sour mix. This is a sour mix, a sugar-based sour mix with all the tequila properties, which to me is a sour mix. Right, that is the key ingredient, and they don't necessarily say it's a sour mix. They call it a margarita mix, but I personally would call it a sour mix. And marketing-wise, I can see why they do that. So what I did is I followed the recipe and divided it in half, because I do remember have to garden, and it does say refrigerator after opening. So I like that, although I don't like to keep putting stuff like this in my refrigerator. Things that can go back into the closet scare me, but that's because they're full of preservatives and such. Let's see. Make sure nobody's going over. So 65 calories per serving. That's 4 fluid ounces. The recipe I'm using uses. I did. Let's see. The original recipe here is 4 ounces of Margarita Texas mix. That's this. 3 ounces of Blanco tequila. For that I used Blanco. I used Sparkle Donkey. And for their orange, they suggest Paul's Texas Orange Liqueur, which I'm guessing is affiliate or themselves. Oh really? You're gonna chop dirt and okay. Anyway, I'm using 03 Premium Orange Liqueur. So I did that recipe, but I divided it in half, and it's really good. Like, let me give you a secret. I'm gonna get up close here. If you're having a party and you've got a large number of people coming, 20 plus people, right? For me, I typically go with perfect purees because I've reviewed a lot, so they've sent me a bunch of them, so I have them in the freezer, and I've always got those for backup. But the beauty of that is if you can get a really nice, flavorful base, you don't have to put so much work into it. This has a nice flavorful base. This is your sour mix. So if you don't feel like making squeezing lemons and limes and simple syrup and building them together and being able to build your own massive sour mix, that would feed a liter, 33 ounces of people. So that's like a bottle of tequila right there. So you can make probably, I'm going to say 12 medium alcohol based margaritas. If you have a lot of people coming over and you're trying to do it with style, yet still with speed, using a product that actually has quality ingredients to it, off the shelf, it's going to happen. I would rather, if I had the time, I would rather make margaritas for every single person at a party. But if I'm the host, and that is my job, I have a lot of jobs. I have to host the entire party, make sure everybody's got their drink, make sure everybody's got a seat. If you've hosted a party, you understand how difficult that is. And sometimes being able to pull this stuff on the quick out of a shelf, build some margaritas, pass them out, and have people go, wow, these are really good. How'd you make this? That is the reaction you want to get. And maybe the reaction is going to be better if you made them all by hand. But let's be honest, if the party goes beyond 5, things can get out of control. That's when this type of product comes in handy. And while I did like the original, I like this one better from principle and from flavor. It's a dialed back sweetness. Almost can't tell there's sweetness at all, except for it's not uber sour. So there must be enough sweetness to bring back and curb the edge off the sour and make a margarita that tastes like a margarita. Tastes better than what you get at a restaurant. They say it's a restaurant style. I say it's a little bit beyond that because a restaurant just pours in some off-the-shelf sour mix. A good restaurant won't, but most, and then they just go on and they might pour some tequila in there. You can't even taste the tequila. This has a perfect balance. At least that recipe. I'm sure you can play with the recipe a little bit. But that's going to be gone super fast. And the unique heritage of the tequila still remains. You still get a nice Sparkle Donkey flavor, which is that sweet like agave flavor, a little bit of almost like a candy action, and you can get that just drinking this straight, and it still comes through with the margarita mix. So in general, I give that a high endorsement. If you can get margarita, restaurant style margarita mix, it looks like that. Margarita Texas Rita is the name of the recipe. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and have a party, because that's just what you got to do. So, lastly, we have a contest coming up next week. It is Cinco de Mayo. We're celebrating. That's just an excuse. I'm going to give away a Tito's Handmade American Vodka Boston Shaker to the person that creates a web video in the vein of Common Man Cocktails. Make a recipe. You can have 2 people, one with a beard and one without. I don't care how crazy you get. If you want to spoof the show, if you want to create your own show with your own cocktail and its own tasting all around it, just like we would do, the full gamut. Make a video. If you post it on YouTube, I'll put it into a playlist with all the competitors and everybody can see them. We will vote on them here, me, Doug, Doug's wife, my wife, anyone else I can find that just comes up with a, hey, that's a good video, and we all kind of agree. The winner will get the Boston Shaker. The 2 runners-up will get a bottle of Peychaud Bitters. More about that in next week's videos. Stay tuned for that. This week we're starting our cocktail competition where we'll have 2 cocktails each episode. So they're going to be like 17 to 19-minute episodes. They're going to fight. We pick a winner. We do that for the week. Next week we finish that round, and we move on to the second round until we get a final winner who will win 25 or 20% or whatever it is I said in our original contest that we put out a couple months ago on Adam Elmagarib's bitters. So everybody has made their submissions. We have 15 in, and now it's time to pick a winner. It will take a couple weeks, but it's going to be awesome, and stay tuned for that because there are some really good recipes coming out of it. That's it, folks. Question of the day. What do you do on Cinco de Mayo? Personally, it's like every other day for me, except for I try and publish a video that says, Happy Cinco de Mayo. We're teaching you how to drink.